This is the Hockey Podcast Network, your home for hockey talk on every team in the NHL.
Welcome to Offside by a Mile, the podcast for anything and everything Colorado Avalanche, and the official Avs podcast for the Hockey Podcast Network. Well, if that wasn't the most exciting July 1st in October I've ever seen, I don't know what is.
It's July 1st, right?
That being said, it was actually awful. That was probably the worst first day of free agency. TSN had a graphic of, signings in the first hour of free agency. And over the last 3 or 4 years when they had the week of negotiating before July 1st, there was 30 or 40 signings in the first hour of free agency. There was 10 this year.
Yeah.
And I think 5 of them were $1 million contracts.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just kind of sitting there.
And
is something going to happen?
As a fan, as a generic hockey fan, free agency, free agent frenzy, whatever you want to call it, depending on the network you're watching. I know, I saw a lot of TSN watchers on Avs Twitter and stuff like that, because it sounds like you guys in the States get a whopping NHL Network and NHL Network to choose from. Up here, at least, we get TSN and Sportsnet. Personally, TSN is the go-to for me, because I think Sportsnet sucks. But, I mean, that's just me. But, obviously, free agent frenzy is generally an exciting thing. As a fan of, I think, just being just a hockey fan, if you're objectively looking at free agent frenzy day, especially the first day of free agency, the mistakes that happen on day one are always the worst.
All these questionable accusations.
The risk reward to signing someone on the first day of free agency almost always seems like it's just the risk just so far outweighs the reward every time.
Yeah.
This year, none of that happened because I believe by the time TSN went off air at 6 o'clock Eastern, one player from the top 10 had signed. And that was Markstrom, I believe.
Yeah. And
it's just well, that wasn't very frenzy-like.
Yeah, where's the frenzy?
I watched this for 5 hours, and there was I know that Cap Friendly says there was 80 signings on day one. But the thing with 80 signings on day one, there was only $302 million spent, which if you look at a standard free agent frenzy, that is incredibly low.
Oh, yeah.
And you can definitely blame COVID for some of that. You can blame Seattle for another part of that.
Yeah, very different set of circumstances for this free agency.
It's crazy to see this. 80 signings, total contract years 136. That means it averaged way less than 2 years per contract.
Yeah, that's insane.
Which is bonkers.
And you just look at the list. It's just 1 year, 2 year, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 2 year, 2 year.
And it's $700,000, $700,000, $1 million, $800,000.
Yeah, is there anybody that's on more than a 1 or 2 year deal here?
It's crazy, right? It's absolutely nuts.
I can just scroll through this. Derek Grant, that's the first one I seen.
Perfect.
For the Ducks.
Killing it.
Big 1.5 mil a year for 3 years. Yeah, there's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 contracts that were more than 2 years.
Yeah.
On that day. That's
insane.
Yeah.
Right? And it's I don't know how to put it. It's definitely not surprising. It's not at all surprising. Teams are up against so many teams are up against the cap. It's absolutely crazy. And thank our lucky stars, the Avs aren't, but they're not far away. They had 15 or 60 million in cap space or whatever going into Friday.
Yeah.
That doesn't take very long considering who they had as RFAs and who they have as RFAs next year
Yeah, for sure.
and or UFAs with Landy, right? Like that cap space, like, man,
Doesn't take long.
the Taylor Hall rumors got to stop.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, I know, and I've been thinking about that more and more, and it's scary.
Only way Taylor Hall makes sense is on a 1-year deal.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what I was thinking.
And, as much as I didn't expect that to be a possibility, after Friday and Saturday, it sure seems like it.
yeah. And I mean, it's been so long that like Colorado and Taylor Hall have been tied together in conversation. And it's just like
I've hated every second of it.
And honestly, it makes me think that we're gonna do something, and I feel like he might get signed. And God help us if it's more than a year.
Man, so to me, what blows my mind with Avs Twitter, and it's a few of the bigger name people on Avs Twitter, but it blows my mind that some people are okay with adding Taylor Hall to this lineup, but weren't okay with the Markstrom chat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then
That blows my mind. I understand as a fan, like as just a fan, a team, like seeing your team win, add the biggest piece. It can't hurt, quote unquote.
yeah.
When you look into the future, it definitely can hurt. Like I said, a lot of free agent frenzy mistakes are made
Right.
often.
Mm-hmm.
But I can understand as a fan of I want my team, I want my GM to improve my team for next year, especially with this Avs team.
Mm-hmm.
Being that
We're so close.
they're
right?
very much a contender still.
Yeah.
So I guess before we get too crazy, we're recording Saturday night, so if something happens Sunday, I really hope it's not Pietrangelo and or Hall signing, because our whole week of podcast is just fucked.
We'll just have to edit in a little segment. Oh, by the way, now we're recording on Sunday. This shit happened.
Yeah, we'll have to re-record when we didn't want to record on Sunday. There's no choice.
Yeah.
But it blows my mind. Like, yeah, if you want to improve, Taylor Hall, Alex Pietrangelo, Markstrom, they were all legitimate improvements on your team.
There's a few goalies that could have probably
Maybe. But we had this conversation. Like, how many goalies were a legitimate improvement on the two goalies we had last year?
Right, and continuously I've gone through that in my head, and I'm like, we lost both our goalies in the playoffs.
You
can't really improve on that. It's
how many times?
Yeah, well, let's get a goalie that won't get injured. Okay, show me that goalie.
Yeah, show me the goalie that plays in
Because
double wrap.
pretty fucking much every goalie is going to get injured at some point.
You know who else got hurt last year? Markstrom.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm not gonna avoid, or I don't know, pretend like we didn't. We defended goalies on this podcast so much for the Avs this year,
for sure.
When the haters were hating on Grubauer, or even in the playoffs hating on Francouz.
Yeah,
they were fine. They were fine. But to me, if you're going to take this team and push it over the edge, it's defensive upgrades and it's goalie upgrades.
Yeah.
Again, we said this last week, we said this the week before. It's crazy to me that there were people that were on the Taylor Hall wagon and also on the why do we need to upgrade our goalies wagon.
Right.
And it's just like, you think we need to upgrade the offense on this team and you don't think we can upgrade the goalies. Like, are you crazy?
And it's so funny because we got, like you just said, we went through the year defending our goalies.
It's literally
and other people are just like, nah, it's fine.
It's literally the same guy who wants Taylor Hall, doesn't want to upgrade. And I was just like, what?
Yeah, and it's weird because, I see, like, there was a lot of tweets out there that were like, yeah, I'm down for Taylor Hall. Just like looking at it like, dude, what?
I was so confused, and I'm glad it's Saturday and Taylor Hall still isn't a Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah.
Problem is he's a nobody right now, and it's still scary. It's still out there. The cloud is still hanging over.
Yeah.
But I believe in Joe Sakic, and I legitimately don't think there's money.
Well,
now, considering what happened on Saturday,
and I feel like
I don't think there's money.
Yeah, I feel like also there's nothing that would make head office want to sign Taylor Hall long term. Because, like, why? Why would we? We have every single piece in place on our forward lineup at the moment.
You have this really great example of what not to do. A little bit down the road in the Central Division. Justin Falk is the reason Alex Pietrangelo is not a member of the St. Louis Blues. Are you telling me that Taylor Hall could be the reason we don't have Gabriel Landeskog next year?
Right.
Are you like what?
Someone who has no merit in our organization whatsoever, no background.
Again, a 1-year deal, Taylor Hall, I can probably stomach that.
Yeah.
And with the way free agency has gone this weekend, that is, I guess, a possibility. Like, I did not expect Tyson Barrie to take a 1-year deal in Edmonton.
Right.
Man, if that's not going all in on yourself, I don't know what is.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
I understand it's it's COVID cap and it's all this stuff. But to go to Edmonton as a defenseman, as an offensive defenseman like Tyson Barrie, to play with two of the highest offense producers in the league, like if you're Tyson Barrie, man, that is got to be like his eyeballs must have just been so wide. Like, oh, pardon?
So you're telling me there's a chance,
right? Like he didn't have a great season for Toronto this year. He could easily go put 65 points up in Edmonton with Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, and then just make bank next year.
Exactly. That makes him look pretty
He
damn
could
good,
also
right?
go and score 35 or 40 points like he did this year and be minus 500. And yes, plus minus isn't a great stat. We're going to play that. We're gonna play that tune until Ryan Graves signs for a reasonable amount of money.
Yeah.
Plus minus is useless. I mean, it is mostly useless, but it's a cool stat when you're like killing it like Ryan Graves did.
Right.
But it doesn't mean anything. But still,
mean a
if
whole
you're
lot, but
minus,
it still looks bad.
If you're minus $1 million, it looks bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look good. Just looking at the stats. Oh, yeah, so he had like 25 points in a year. Oh, minus 35. Oh, God.
Oh, did he play for the Wings?
It's like looking, It's like even you look at Ovechkin's really bad year. What was he, minus 41 or some shit? It was like at least minus 35. And you could like look at that from afar, right? And like just, looking at the numbers, and you're like, what the fuck happened, Ovi?
Man, he doesn't play defense, does he? Oh.
Yeah. But
yeah, minus 35 was his worst ever season.
Yeah. And it's just like, it doesn't look good. It doesn't necessarily mean a lot, but
again, it's like plus minus compared to your teammates is where the stat lies.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, we made fun of the minus $1 million players in Detroit this year. It was hilarious because Detroit themselves were minus $1 million.
Yeah, the goal differential.
But like, it's funny. But at the same time, like, I would imagine as a defenseman, it's probably a little harder to sell that I'm just a measly minus 35.
Yeah.
But personally, for Tyson Barrie as a person, great deal in Edmonton. Great deal.
Yeah.
Like, for him as a Hawk, Edmonton, I don't know what they're doing. Like,
do we ever know what the hell
the
they're
Toronto
doing?
Maple Leafs tried to improve their defense by bringing in Tyson Barrie. That worked great. The Edmonton Oilers need to improve their defense. Bring in Tyson Barrie. That's going to work great for you, too.
Let's look at the pedigree here. Take a look at this resume.
I don't know. We all know what Tyson Barrie did on the defensive side of the puck. So, I don't know. Yeah. So, free agency's been weird. The Avs on Friday, though. On Friday, the Avs just spent all kinds of money.
So much money.
4 contracts, all 1 years. Maximum dollar value was $771,750 for Sheldon Dries.
Right.
Wow, really breaking the bank, Joe.
That's good. I mean, you need those players, right?
I mean, I don't have an issue with they're all 2-way contracts, so that means they're all depth players that are going to go up and down your lineup when injuries happen, which they're going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, we know they're going to happen. It's not if they happen. It's fucking when and how much.
But again, right? The Avs didn't. This is the thing. I had arguments. Obviously, being in Calgary, we had arguments with many people about Markstrom, and I said, if Markstrom makes it to free agency, He's coming to Colorado because that shiny cup thing is going to draw him here, whether over money or contract length or whatever. Apparently, he's really good friends with Elias Lindholm in Calgary. And I think the contract dollars, the contract length, and all that jazz brought him to Calgary. But I didn't expect that. But the weird thing, and yes, it's kind of Avs standard, but like you didn't hear the Avs were in on him. You didn't hear anything like that. I didn't hear a single Avs rumor all day on Friday.
Yeah, and right, and that's why like it was kind of weird because I expected to have some kind of connection between some goalie, right?
Yeah,
any goalie, not necessarily just Markstrom. Like even like there's little interest in Fleury or something, right? Or
Kemper,
just like something. But clearly, I don't know. I feel like especially some of these goalies were, like Markstrom got a pretty hefty deal. I don't think the Avs were prepared to make that kind of long-term deal. See, it just doesn't seem like they are.
It does. No, it doesn't. And I don't know. Like it's going to be a weird. It is a weird point in the NHL as a whole, right? With goalies.
Yeah.
I don't think you can spend $10 million on a goalie.
Yeah.
But this is the weird part about goaltending, and Jamie McLennan said it on TSN's broadcast the best. And he said, he's like, you don't notice goaltending until you don't have it. And that's the problem with being in the position, not like the Avs are, but like a lot of teams in the NHL are like, okay, we can joke on the Wings, but the Wings were like that, right? Like they've had Jimmy Howard and X guy forever.
Yeah.
Last year was Bernier, right? They've had, was it Mrazek and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But that's the thing, right? Like Edmonton is like that, right? Now you look at Cam Talbot going to Minnesota, and then Minnesota shipping Dubnyk to San Jose, and like,
plus the Flames too.
Yeah,
haven't really.
Right, the Flames haven't had goalie, right?
Yeah.
And it's this thing, and it's such a hard. Again, we talked about how weird goalies are. It's such a hard commodity to just all of a sudden produce, and that's why to me it's hard not to commit to goalies. And it's hard not to commit. Again, right? That's why Carey Price demanded the money that he got. It's partially why Burakovsky demanded the money he got. It's such a crucial position, but the problem with the position is that consistency is so hard to maintain.
Yeah.
Which is why it's so hard to commit.
Yeah.
Right? So, yes, going long-term with Markstrom may not have been something that they wanted to do. But as Markstrom, obviously, like as a goalie, you're going to try and get term. But to me, the $6 million wasn't crazy. 6 years wasn't that crazy to me either.
Yeah.
Just because, right? Like I think you can legitimately have a $8 or $9 million tandem and goal, and be able to build a roster around that.
Yeah.
I don't believe you can have an $11 million tandem and build a competitive roster around that. So you have to deal with it. But like you look at the whole deal Holtby got.
Yeah.
Holtby's been in the gutter a little bit in the last 2 years since they won the Cup. But that's a crazy good deal for what Vancouver needed in a goalie.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like Vancouver played that pretty well. Like it kind of seemed like Markstrom was obviously on the way out, and not because of the way he played. He played himself into a position where they were able, there was going to be interest for him. And then you got the Demko fucking, I don't even know what to call it, spectacle.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, and you're like, okay, so how can we bring in someone who can, I don't mean like show him the way a little bit more, like Holtby's been around, he's fucking won the Cup, he's been there, done that. I feel like they set themselves up pretty good this year for success, and like Demko's probably going to be that guy.
And then I think Holtby will be expansion eligible, right? So it's like they don't have to deal with that. That's the other thing that clouds all these free agent moves.
Right.
And the reason why there's so many 1 and 2 year deals, well, the 1 years especially, is if you have a 1 year deal, you're not in the expansion draft to Seattle, period, end of story.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm sure players that were UFAs were looking into that. But at the same time, like, I don't know if you're Seattle, I don't know if you take Holtby just because he's only got 1 year left.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of a waste of a pick. It kind of gets you around that. But at the same time, he's exposed, and he has to be exposed, and you have to. I believe you have to expose a goalie, right?
Who knows? Maybe that's a backup that they choose to take or something.
Yeah, right. But it's just all that, and there's so many things that go into the expansion draft. But again, right, like you add that to the COVID and the cap being flat, and you've just we may not have had an exciting free agent frenzy, but fuck, have we had trades out our ass?
Right, and I feel like there's still lots of more
There's
trades
tons
to come.
of trades to come.
There's a
Look,
lot.
the Flames signed Markstrom, and then today they signed Domingue.
Yeah.
Well, that is weird because they have Riddick still.
Right.
And to me, as a Calgarian and a semi-Flames fan, like, Riddick didn't play himself out of a job, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But they just signed two guys that basically just forced Riddick out of a job. And it's just crazy because you're like, so are they adding Riddick to the goalie market that's already full?
Yeah.
Right?
And that's definitely something I didn't expect.
You still have Fleury. OEL, nothing happened with him out of Arizona. Right? You still have
right.
Who was trying to move? I guess Kemper technically is still out there, right? Because they haven't traded him yet, and he was still on the block. And
yeah,
I don't know, man. It's just there's so much going on. That is fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of trades,
guess we can get into that.
Fun today.
Yeah.
And while I'm not sure about it, I'm coming around. I'm not as like, oh man, that is a home run. But I know a lot of Avs Twitter is. I think you are. We'll get into it. But the rights to Nikita Zadorov, who ended up signing for $3.2 million for a season, I believe, with Chicago, for Brandon Saad, and then some pieces.
Mm-hmm.
The pieces were, so officially it was Zadorov and Lindholm, Anton Lindholm, an AHL guy, for Brandon Saad and Dennis Gilbert. And $1 million salary retained from Chicago for Brandon Saad. So that makes Brandon Saad a $5 million player. Zadorov signs for $3.2. So basically it's a $1.8 million swing to the Avs. That's not crazy.
Yep.
But again, that's $5 million the Avs didn't have on the cap. So that adds again to the cap lack of cap space. They have 9 and a bit now, right?
Right.
But on the surface, like if we pretend the last 3 years hasn't happened, Brandon Saad is a fucking stud.
I mean, yeah.
The reason that I'm not, oh my God, that's a home run, is because the last 3 years has happened, and Brandon Saad has not been the Brandon Saad of old. Yes,
sure.
The Chicago Blackhawks have not been the Brandon Saad of old either.
But you could say though, I mean, he's not going to get better. But
see,
he could produce better. I guess.
So this is the thing. This is part of what was in my brain when the trade first went down. So again, did the Avs win this trade? Yeah,
probably.
The only thing with that though, before we get too carried away, I do not want to see Zadorov fucking 4 times a year.
Yeah.
In the same division, so I'm not thrilled about that.
Yeah.
Because if you think Zadorov needs to be fired up against the Avs, well, fucking here you go. But the thing that was in my brain was this is the 3rd time Brandon Saad's been traded.
Yeah.
I saw a tweet, and I think it was in our Slack chat or something that somebody shared it, but the Blackhawks have now lost 3 trades where Brandon Saad has been a part of it. Because when they traded him to Columbus, they definitely lost that trade.
Panarin, yeah.
No, that's the second one when they got him back.
Oh yeah, what was the? I don't even remember what the first one was.
What is his first one? Let me see.
I can't even remember actually.
Trade history.
Oh yeah, because they got him back for Panarin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first trade was Saad, Paliota, Broadhurst, AHL guys that clearly have never done anything, for Anisimov, Marco Dano, Jeremy Morin, and Trop. And Anisimov was fine.
And Dano is supposed to be the big prospect coming up.
And
hasn't really done much.
I believe Marco Dano's in Winnipeg now.
Yeah. Because he played a few games there last year, yeah.
I believe, considering the fact that Columbus then flipped Saad back to Chicago for Artemi Panarin.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that went well. That one was clearly one-sided.
Yeah, as we could tell from the past
That was
year.
the weirdest trade anyway.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I
cash
remember
certainty.
seeing that, and I was like, what the
But, like, that's a definite loss. And then this one, like, Zadorov, who was, at best, the Avs' sixth, unless he turns into a stud defenseman like we hoped he would have,
Yeah.
there's no way they lose this trade.
And honestly, the more and more that I have thought about that as well, and just like the future of Zadorov, and honestly being tentative and being like, okay, well, yeah, like just kind of what you just went through. If he fucking starts playing really well and like,
He's
you
in
know.
Chicago, for fuck's sakes. Like, that sucks.
yeah, and but I just don't see it. The thing is, like, mentally, that's where his issues are. It has nothing to do with his skill, his physical, like his body or
It's
anything.
his will, and that's between his ears.
And it's his will, but it's also his fucking IQ. It just seems so minuscule sometimes. You're just like, what the fuck you doing out there, Big Z? Yeah, he could throw his body around, though, I'll tell you that. So there's up and there's down, and I feel like
But
if he gets paired with someone...
the thing that was, like, in the back of my head was, man, this is the third trade in Brandon Saad's career.
Yeah.
And
Right,
my brain
yeah.
just goes, he's 30, he's 31, like, you know, he's has been. No, he's 27 years old.
Right, it seems like he's
So,
older,
like,
right?
Could he get better? Yeah, actually, he could. Like, he could actually get better here,
Yeah.
right? Like, is he going to be a first-line stud? No, but
No
he
way.
could easily be a 60-point guy at one season for just, you know, whatever reason.
And I mean, yeah, you never know where he could really fit in, and he can play both sides. So, like...
The other thing is he plays defensively well.
But-
He's
and I-
hard to play against.
Right. I think that's a really good thing that I'm excited about, is that gives us another really good kind of Donskoy, another player like that, another Nemestikov. You can't really have too many of those guys. They can penalty kill really well, skate really well. You know, they have that offensive upside that we've seen from all three of those guys.
And if it doesn't work out, he's got 1 year left on his deal. See you,
Right,
bye.
exactly. Next year we can be like, peace out.
And also, he again, right, like the last 3 years, he's had 33 points this year. I think he had 40-something the year before and 35 the year before that.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
Which, like, for the price tag, it doesn't seem great.
he's not getting a raise if he's not doing better.
I don't think
Right,
he's
so,
getting
like-
a raise regardless.
Yeah, right. But like, you don't have to worry about like, oh, if he does play defensively well for us, oh man, we're gonna have to pay 6, 7, 8 million next year. No,
Right.
it's not. If he's a defensive guy for this team next year, he's not getting a raise.
Yeah.
Never mind 6. It's gonna be like 3, 4.
And
Right.
I feel like the more I think about that too is he probably will be relied to play a lot of defense and, you know, more of the shutdown line kind of role. But also I feel like that's going to help everybody else out, and that might even help him out in regards to just playing the game and not worrying about having to score or anything. Not that he was probably worried about that in Chicago, but
And then like
It's just different.
projected lines, having him on the second line with Kadri.
yeah, I mean,
Yes, please.
I could see a lot of different combinations for him for sure.
So like, I'm definitely coming around. And then, thanks to our good friend Tom Franklin, I don't know. I'm gonna have to start following him because man, the guys in the Hockey Podcast Network love this Jay Fresh guy on Twitter.
Okay.
He's a advanced stat dude.
Oh yeah.
And Tom sent us this thing that Jay Fresh posted after the trade happened about how Brandon Saad is one of the most. It's like he's unlucky, or his teammates just suck, or something. But he derives so much offense that just doesn't turn into offense, like actual points on the board.
Gotcha.
Which is kind of cool. It's concerning.
Kind of cool.
I don't know what the word is. It's not
Yeah.
concerning, but it's like I'm curious as hell about it because he was
Right.
playing with Taves and Kubalik. And, like,
Suspect.
he was playing with players that put the puck in the net. So it's weird. It's weird that advanced stats wise, he's got a good expected goals for, but his actual goals for
Just shit luck.
is just shitty.
Yeah, just shit luck, man. Maybe he's got to pull out of his hole
But
like
man, you put
Nichushkin.
yeah, maybe. But you put him with a guy like Kadri. You put him with a
Yeah.
guy whether it's Burakovsky or whatever, maybe he does produce at a do I think he's going to produce more in Colorado than he did in Chicago? Yeah. I could see a Landeskog, Kadri, Saad line, and then because I feel as a defensive,
like a really good shutdown line with responsible players.
Who the hell do I play against Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid? Them,
right?
Those three, right there,
right. And then that kind of would allow Burakovsky to flourish on that top line, which I just think is inevitable.
God, he's going to get a raise. After.
Speaking of, he already did get a raise. I guess we could talk about that now too.
So that's another thing that happened Saturday, which is Andre Burakovsky.
Honestly, we're so glad that this happened because we're like, what the fuck are we gonna fucking talk about?
Well,
there's not much has happened.
So originally we were gonna record on Friday night. Thank fuck we didn't do that.
Yeah, that would have been pretty boring. And then we'd
pretty
been
boring
like,
episode
shit.
and then people cut tuning in to talk about this shit. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But yeah, Burakovsky 2 years, 4.5, right?
4.9.
4.9.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
I mean, if you think about, we're paying Brandon Saad, 5 mil.
Yeah.
4.9 for Burakovsky. Yeah.
Yeah, for a guy that's gonna outperform his 4.9, almost for sure.
Oh, right, exactly. And
we saw how well he performed during the injury riddled parts of the season, right?
He stepped up big time.
I mean, his release, how much more do you have to say about his release?
We've talked about him all year, pumping his tires up.
So that's RFA number 1
signed,
which is Burakovsky does bridge deal. The Choo-Choo train is back.
Hell yeah, whoop whoop. He
got
a
big
train
time raise
sound.
Though. That was a weird train, but sure. Should have brought a train whistle for you or something.
Yeah, doesn't Brett? I swear Brett is a
I'm
fucking
sure
train
he does.
whistle.
I know, I definitely do.
I don't know how to do a train sound. That's my voice.
But yeah, Val Nichushkin, 2 years, 2.5 each.
Yeah.
Sizable raise for him, very sizable raise for him. But deserved, again.
Yeah.
Dude was the best defensive forward on this team last year.
I know, and, speaking of plus minus, what was he, plus 30 or something?
Yeah,
I just looked at it, and I was like, yeah, plus 39. Oh, no, sorry. Plus 26.
That's still pretty good.
Still, but yeah, 13 goals, 14 assists, 65 games. We all know how long it took him to get going. But we also saw his whole demeanor change after he started, opening up. And, I mean, this guy has so much hunger. I'm looking for he'll outperform this 2.5, I think, as well.
I can't say he was the guy I wanted signed most out of the RFA core.
Yeah.
But he was up there. He was probably I think it was Burakovsky and Nichushkin that I wanted to be signed. But obviously I want Graves.
Yeah.
Too, but which is another weird thing I saw on Twitter. People are just like, he's replaceable. Ryan Graves is replaceable.
No, Nikita Zadorov is replaceable. I don't know if Graves is replaceable. Man.
Have any of the people that tweet a lot on Abs Twitter watched NHL hockey for the last 5 years? Because defensemen are not just plucked out of the tree.
Yeah.
They don't just fall out as well as it seems like the Avs just produce defensemen. Yeah. That's not the same for the rest of the
regular.
League. Taylor Hall was traded for Adam Larson.
Right.
For a reason. It was a stupid reason, but it was a reason.
It was a reason.
And it was that the Oilers had not figured out how to get defensemen.
Suck at negotiating, I guess. I don't know.
That. But yeah, if you think Ryan Graves is just replaceable because he only had 26 points last year, you're crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even really know what to say about him, just basically because that's all you have to do is just look at the product you have. That guy took massive steps this year, and he's up there.
I saw people that were like, "Oh, he's probably going to regress next year." Yeah, probably, but he's still going to be fine.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe not though.
Yeah,
and I feel like him and Makar are a pretty pair. They're a pretty pair.
Aw,
I'll say that.
Jared's fallen in love.
They're just so cute, dude. They're just so cute out there. But seriously, though, you look at them play together once they got paired up this year, and you're like, oh, dude, This is like a very good
There's a
offensive
reason why
line here.
Eric Johnson wasn't Cale Makar's like full season D partner.
Right, and Graves can keep up with Makar. That's another big thing. And this guy is like a big, like I say lanky, but not in a bad way.
Yeah,
like,
he's
he's
big.
got
He's got
agility.
He's got a reach, and he's
Exactly. I don't know.
Again,
I don't know how you can say he's replaceable. Who the fuck is going to replace him? Barry? Are we going to get Barry back? Is he better than Graves? I don't think so at this point.
Which, again, if we would have recorded yesterday, we would have had a talk about the fact that the Colorado Avalanche were rumored to be in on Barry.
I mean, I wouldn't be against it.
I wouldn't have been against it either at the right price. But,
exactly.
like, the fact that there was no rumors on freaking Markstrom at all.
Yeah.
And there was rumors on Tyson Barrie and Taylor Hall. And
what is happening?
Talking about rumors, I guess, real quick. The Pietrangelo rumor to Vegas is fucking terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
How? How can Vegas afford that? Like, we were kind of, me and my buddies were
House
joking.
money.
Me and my buddies were, yeah, man, the house always wins. Me and my buddy were joking about it today. And it's just like, you know what? Like, he said that. He's like, how are they going to be able to offload salary cap, anything, after they sign Pietrangelo, if they sign him? And I'm like, I don't know, and I don't care. I hope nobody gives in.
Yeah.
Because it's happening in Tampa Bay, and it makes me laugh. Tyler Johnson was on waivers. He cleared waivers because nobody wanted to take him. Nobody wanted to help Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
People want their returns. Ryan Murray was traded for a 5th-round pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Ryan Murray was traded for a 5th-round pick. Ryan Murray has played less games in the NHL than Yakupov did. Somebody pointed that out. I saw on Reddit. Which is like, wow, he's been injury-riddled to the max then. Okay.
Yeah.
But still, Ryan Murray, who is a serviceable NHL defenseman when he's healthy, was traded for a 5th-round pick because Columbus needed to clear some cap space.
Right. Yeah, there's no favors being done here.
I don't think there's going to be any favors.
Yeah.
And that's that's no favors to a team like Columbus.
Yeah.
Never mind a team that's already over the cap.
Yeah, I mean,
right? Like, I don't know how Tampa Bay is going to get rid of Tyler Johnson, especially the fact that he has a no-trade clause.
Yeah.
You looked at OEL. Like, OEL didn't go anywhere because he strong-armed the Arizona Coyotes into saying Vancouver or Boston, get fucked. And then not only that, but it was like Friday or nothing. And then Friday didn't happen. He's like,
now
screw you guys. Then, wow, man. Arizona just can't catch a break.
Yeah, classic.
But if Petro signs in Vegas, they're going to be over the cap by
That's
what?
Not a little bit, is it? It's like,
yeah, assuming he signs that like $8 million deal, they'll be over the cap by like $6 million.
yeah.
How do you just like? I know they're trying to get rid of Fleury. That's not really going well right now, is it?
Yeah.
Like, they're not over the cap yet. But if they
If they do it, it's going to be. I want to see it.
Vegas,
just because I want to see what they are going to have to do.
Like, I don't know if anybody saw, but first, yeah. So I don't know if anybody saw this, but the odds for who's going to win the cup this year, the Avs are the favorite. They're
right, yeah, the
800
early betting favorites.
Or sorry, plus 800.
Yeah.
I can't remember who was. I think plus 11 was the next couple teams. But man, if Vegas signs Petro and figures out a way and doesn't lose crazy pieces alongside that, if you think they're not a cup favorite, like legitimately like the cup favorite after that, you're crazy.
Yeah. Quite possibly.
How they're going to do it, I don't know. But that team is how they have how they had the roster they had last year.
Mm-hmm.
That was under I don't know. And then this year, if they add Petro, man, get out of here. Like it's not even fair.
Get out of here. And then I guess St. Louis signed Krug.
Yeah, St. Louis clearly moved on with Pietrangelo and signed Krug, which is crazy.
Feels like an odd relationship there. Like, just like, I wonder what's going on there.
Did you see the, did we just become best friends thing? Because, Torrey Krug took that huge run in the Cup final.
Oh, yeah.
Thomas or something?
Yeah, I can't remember who
it was just like, did we just
yeah,
become best friends? And
yeah.
it's just like it's so ridiculous. But yeah, it's just I don't even know. What has happened in the 2 days since the start of free agency and all? Man, it has just been a wild ride. It has been quite interesting. Free agency didn't do anything, but it was everything around it.
Right. Yeah, it's not even necessarily like the free agent signings. It's like everything that's going around that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
bonkers.
It's a different year, you know. Why the hell would it be different in 2020, baby?
Tuesday, Wednesday was the draft that we kind of talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And the Avs' first round pick.
The big old D-man.
The big old D-man. Now this...
Nikita Zadorov replacement.
This is a weird one. Because...
Yeah.
As much praise as they're getting, and he's getting... This is Justin Barron, I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Barron, defenseman, Mooseheads. He's a defensive defenseman. He had, I don't know, in the teens of points last year.
Yeah, nothing crazy production-wise.
Wasn't great, but he's a defensive defenseman, and he can skate.
Mm-hmm.
So that is definitely something that obviously fits the Avs. It sounds all well and good, but we talked about it last week on last week's episode. Draft the best player available, not the positional need player. And the problem with this pick to me is he is exactly the positional need they need.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I buy the fact that he was the best available. And
I know, because there was a lot of players still left at that point.
Right, there was a lot of people falling. And
I'm trying to think of the one guy's name, LaPierre?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, that guy was very highly touted, and that guy just fell and fell and fell.
Yeah, and like Peterka was there, and like he was falling and stuff. And that's just what scares me a bit. I'm not a scout. I'm not a talent analyzer. But it seems to me...
Talent analyzer? That sounds like someone who goes to strip clubs or something.
I mean...
Just analyzing the talent here.
Analyzing the talent today. But, you know, I've watched the Leafs draft like this for a very long... Not so much recently. They've gone with the best available kind of philosophy lately. But the way
almost
the Leafs...
flashiest.
That's you. The way the Leafs have drafted while they've been hot shit in the 2000s has been to fill their positional needs, and man, it bites you in the ass a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this is going to be that. The Avs fucking develop defensemen like crazy, but that's generally on the skill side of it, right?
Yeah.
And
I mean, you are right, because if there's any defenseman we can use, it's definitely not like what the Oilers just did, you know? But like it's get a, you know, defensive defenseman, because we all know we have this pipeline of good offensive.
But again, right, you don't generally... The stud defensive defenseman is generally not a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, yeah. I see your worry for sure.
But the reason that I'm not worried, like, the reason I'm not all in is because they took an offensive defenseman and all that jazz. But on the other side of the coin, the fact that he's 6'2" and he skates well.
Mm-hmm. That's
pretty huge in how you get yourself to the show, at least, right?
Right.
If you can't skate, man, it's hard to teach bad skaters how to skate at an NHL level, right?
Yeah.
So it's that they should be able to teach him the rest. If he's got a brain that's not Zadorov rock level, he should be able to figure it out, and I'm hopeful for that. I really am. I'm not saying you should never draft for your position of need. It's just we talked about it, like best player available, please. And Joe said that too, and their scouts said that too, right? So
maybe they thought he was the best available then.
And maybe it was.
You never know.
It could easily just be a case of, oh, he was good, Peterka was good, Lafreniere or whatever. Well, I don't even know how to say that guy's name because I got so used to saying Lafreniere for first overall.
Yeah.
Right. It could have just been a case of like, this guy's good, this guy's good, this guy's good. We need the defenseman, so we're taking the defenseman.
Yeah.
That's fine. But if it was a case of this guy's better, but we need a defenseman, so we're going to take that, then I don't like it. But again, we'll never find out. I really hope he pans out.
Yep.
I really
all
want
you can do.
to get a Justin Barron jersey just because that means he's in the show.
Yeah.
No second round pick like we talked about. That was the Burakovsky trade. The third round pick is interesting. 75th overall. Jean-Luc Foudy, who is the brother of Liam Foudy, who is fucking quick.
Right.
Like, I remember Liam Foudy on the World Junior team, the Canadian World Junior team, and holy shit, he flew like crazy. And apparently, Jean-Luc Foudy is even faster. He's just not as smart.
Just not as smart. That's sorry, dude. You're just not as smart as your brother. But you're fast.
You're just kind of dumb. I'm not saying he's dumb. He's just not as smart.
That's funny.
But he definitely you know what that sounds like though? It sounds like playing beer league with a guy that just skates really fast to nowhere.
Yeah.
That's what he sounds like. Which, I mean, hey, you can try and teach him how to play. I mean, you need plenty of players like that. Third liners like that all the time.
All you need to do is get him into the routine, you know. That's like for a lot of those types of players. Get him in the routine, get him in the system, make it habit, you know.
But I think this is a pretty common thing around all of the Avs media outlets. This draft was pretty clear what the Avs want. Speed. And yeah, if again, have you been watching the NHL for the last 5-10 years? That's the NHL now.
Is it quick or something?
It's I don't know. Guys are like really
Are
weird.
people like fast?
Wow, weird, huh? Do ice just fall off when they stop learning how to skate? Oh yeah.
That was one thing I saw. Just sidebar. They like came out with, of course, like the EA Sports NHL 21 stats, right? And you fucking look at the fastest players, and you're like, oh, so Matt Duchene's as fast as Nathan McKinnon?
Get out of here.
Yeah. Okay, EA Sports. Sorry, sidebar.
Yeah,
I was just like,
I forgot about that one, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Duchene's as fast as McKinnon. Yeah, let's go with that. He's faster than Dylan Larkin, apparently.
Matt Duchene is?
Yeah, according to NHL 21.
Well, you see, it's really hard to judge because Matt Duchene hasn't been to an All-Star game for a while. So
did he ever go to one?
He must have as an Av, did he not?
I don't know, man.
I don't know, actually.
I don't know about that. Let's see.
You're going to have to find out.
I gotta know now.
I mean, saying that, it's like, maybe he didn't.
I feel like he wouldn't have. Like,
because he didn't go as a Sen. No, I don't think so. He didn't go as a Sen. He definitely didn't go as a Pred.
I don't think he's been. Oh, he did.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, he did. Okay, fine. Matt.
As an Av, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn it.
One of the years when McKinnon wasn't killing it yet.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, I guess we have to get into this. We have to get into the TSN shitstorm that flew off the handle, especially Edmonton Twitter. Oilers Twitter was just on fire. 999. TSN had ranked Nathan McKinnon as the best player in the world right now.
Hell yeah.
Which, as much as I love Nathan McKinnon, fuck no.
It's hard to say that, dude. It's really
like I
hard.
love
We know.
Nathan McKinnon. I would not trade Nathan McKinnon for very many players in the NHL. But if there was a legitimate Nathan McKinnon straight up for McDavid, I'm sorry, but I'm taking McDavid. Like, I mean, you know that like hypothetical, like the cliche hypothetical, like if you were starting an NHL franchise today and you got to pick anyone, I'm sorry, but I'm taking I'm taking McDavid.
Yeah, fair enough.
I might even take Leon Draisaitl after the year he just had.
It's a pretty tough thing to pick McKinnon over probably either of them, if we're being honest.
Like
here.
if I'm being honest. But
my God, do I love McKinnon though?
Yeah, like
like it's hard to imagine the Avs without McKinnon. I don't think I can. We saw it.
The thing I loved about it, the thing I loved about it was the fact that TSN was giving love to McKinnon, not the Canadian guys.
Yeah. Sure.
Sorry, Canadian guys as in like the Canadian market players.
Yeah.
Obviously, McKinnon is Canadian, which also they talked about like their projected 2022 Olympic roster.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, the Canadian roster looks so good. I'm sorry, Americans, y'all are fucked.
I mean,
That roster,
it's pretty spicy.
They were talking about having McKinnon on a line with David. Oh my God.
Can you fucking imagine
Oh
those
my
two playing?
God.
Holy shit, that would be wild. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Whoever is playing with them, just like strap a seatbelt on and
Just
hang out
watch
for the
out.
ride. Just get them the puck.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
But anyway, the list felt like a clickbaity kind of thing. Like, oh, we're going to put McKinnon on top of the list just to get views, get a bunch of shit going, like shit stirred up and all that. And it fucking worked because, man, Oilers Twitter just lit itself on fire. And it was hilarious. And I sent
that
it to
tweet probably circulated like a motherfucker.
I sent it to my, I like instantly sent it to my Oilers friend and was just like, ha! Yeah, he was super thrilled about it.
McDavid sucks.
Oh man, it was just so funny. I don't know how you.
Oh man.
It's maybe it's the NHL way, right? Like, they've talked to, I know TSN guys and those analysts and stuff, the insiders at TSN have talked about it before, but it's like, it's crazy to think, and it's the way the NHL is, right? It's the same as coaches, right? It's the same as the way coaches win Coach of the Year, right? The best Coach of the Year doesn't win the Coach of the Year. It's the surprising Coach of the Year that wins Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just like, you talk about, like, Joel Quenneville, arguably one of the greatest coaches in the league. He's got one Coach of the Year, I think.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just like you look through the league at guys that are generally regarded to as great coaches in the league.
Right.
And none of these guys can ever win the Jack Adams.
And then we got Bob Hartley,
Bob Hartley,
who has a fucking Jack Adams, and he was fucking. That's like a lot of the.
Well, again,
the
you look at the Jack Adams.
Right? Yeah.
Look at how many guys get fired the year after they.
He
win
was the best this year. Now he doesn't have a job.
Now he's fired. Like what? Right?
Yeah, and like to go with what you're saying, like the best coaches aren't getting fired.
No, that too.
They don't get fired.
Right? And then you look at, again, the Hart Trophy is very much like that, and it's just like they're talking about, like, just looking back at guys' careers, and they're like, can you imagine if you look back at the career of Connor McDavid and he only has like 3 hearts or something, and it's just like a guy that was the next Sidney Crosby, right? Like the next generational talent,
Right.
pure and simple.
Yeah.
If you look back at the end of his 15-year playing career, hypothetically, that's what it ends up being, and he's got like 3 hearts or something. That's just ludicrous, right? Like,
And then you'll like look at like the total points amassed during his time, and it'll
Yeah.
just be like him 250 points above the next guy.
yeah, right, in the same time frame, and you're like,
He was only the best for 3 of those years.
yeah,
though.
right. So it's just you start thinking about that. You can say the same thing about Nathan McKinnon.
yeah, yeah.
Right? If Nathan McKinnon gets through his NHL career with no Hart trophies, that'll be theft too,
Yeah.
in
Next
my
year.
opinion as well. Hopefully it is next year. But again, right? Like, it's the best player in the league.
It's hard to win those trophies because really
You're up
you
against
can only do so
700
much.
guys.
Yeah, and you can only do so much to prove your case, right?
And you automatically lose it if you miss 10 games in a season.
Yeah, and it's not like you can be like, yeah, but he played well here. Okay, well, I'll just play a game for Edmonton then, show you.
Right? It's kind of the way, was it the first Carlson Norris?
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think where he got it, and it was like the year before he super deserved it.
And it was like, that was the Doughty year?
May-
Was it the Doughty? Like, everyone's like, fuck, how the fuck did Doughty not win?
There was definitely one, and
I can't remember who they
I
were
can't
talking
remember
about.
what defenseman it was, but it happened, and it was a defenseman, and you're like, he what? And then the next year was the guy you're like, well, he should have won it last year.
Yeah, I think it was Doughty, right?
Maybe.
And then, because then the next year, you're like, how the fuck did Doughty win this year now?
Yeah, and you're just like, what?
Yeah.
Right, and it's
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't know. Seems very political in a lot of those award nominations.
that's
and
why
everything.
again I still love the player voted trophy.
I almost put more fucking merit into those.
And again, right, we talked about it. Leon Draisaitl won the player vote too,
yeah,
right? And it's
I almost go more with that. Just
That's
basically,
why
like those are your colleagues, those are your peers.
it's hard for me to sit there and look at TSN's list and be like, the players and the media voted for Leon Draisaitl as the best player in the league. Just so we know, right? Like, just so we're aware.
Yeah. Right.
If it would have been Leon, McDavid,
It's like,
McKinnon, I would have been okay with that.
It's like fucking movie critics rating movies and then like all the actors being like, these are our favorite movies though.
Oh, this movie wins the Oscar, and everybody's like, yeah, movie's shit, man.
Yeah, like I did not even like that. Who the hell's that actor? Fuck that guy.
But yeah, so I don't know. I just found that really funny. It was one of the things on the TSN broadcast that was just like, and Twitter was so funny after, and we just had to talk about it.
For sure.
But anyway, yeah. So I guess we'll finish the draft list. Nothing like nobody really.
I know these players all.
Yeah, I
back
watched
to
them
front. Like I'm Pierre McGuire on these bitches.
I forgot to mention that Tom from the Blue Notes pod also mentioned that Dennis Gilbert is talent. Like, he's not going to be a top 6, but he said he believes he will be an NHLer, which that's a nice throw. And it's kind of, you look at the Duchesne trade, right? Ryan Graves.
Yep.
He was part of the Duchesne trade, right? Like, there was some throw-ins in that trade that have become NHL players, which makes that Matt Duchesne trade look like an absolute steal of a deal, again, from Joe Sakic, right?
That's why you don't see 1-for-1s very often, too.
Exactly, right? So that's the thing with this trade is it's not just Brandon Saad versus Nikita Zadorov next year.
Right.
Or for the future. It's the other pieces. And I don't really think, personally, that Anton Lindholm is going to be huge for the Blackhawks. And is he going to play? Maybe. Is he going to be good? I don't know.
I should have probably looked. He's a D-man, right?
I believe.
Like, he was like our
10th
10th or 11th kind of D-man, because I'm pretty sure he came into the bubble with us, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right, actually, yeah.
And I think he may have played like 2 or 3 games this year. I should probably just look it up, but
yeah, so
I never thought he was anything really special, so it's like whatever.
Again, he's young. It's one of those things that it's who can develop the guy better and who is better, you know?
Right.
But
it's like that little potential bar in NHL.
Again, it wasn't 1-for-1. It was 2-for-2, and from our inside source who has watched him at Notre Dame, Dennis Gilbert seems pretty good.
Sick. Well, there you go.
I'll take it.
Yeah, Lindholm played 4 games last year, had 1 assist. Woo.
Oh yeah, right. He came.
That was like with
he was in like
Makar injury.
Yeah, it was like February or something.
Yeah, right near the end.
Yeah. I remember that now, because he got called up and people were like, "What?"
Yeah, and he didn't play too much. So
I totally forgot. Yeah. Now I remember that.
Like,
it's been so long, dude.
Dude,
we were talking before we started recording that May feels long ago.
Right.
February feels like
it's epic.
16 far. Like,
I know, and like we said last week, it's like, yeah, we would be in the first week of the next season right now. It's just like, what the fuck is going on? Where am I? What day is it? What time is it? What month is it? That's like, hey, we're in Calgary right now. Okay, I don't know if you Americans might understand. Maybe in Colorado, it's probably
similar,
kind of similar. But okay, usually there's snow on the ground. Like, let's be serious here. Usually there's snow on the ground by now. Or there has been.
Has been, yeah.
There has been.
Sure.
I should rephrase that. Snow has fallen. Like,
I've worn shorts for the last week.
Yeah, it's been like nice as hell here. It's fucking weird, dude.
But
it's really throwing me off.
Driving here tonight, there was a friggin' storm cloud behind me. Holy moly.
Yeah. There's some darkness out there.
So I mean, it's getting chillier at night. There's probably going to be some snow on the ground one morning for sure.
Well, it's also just like getting so dark now.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, I mean, it's been an eventful. I don't know. I'd say like 72 hours.
Yeah.
It seems. But again, I kind of tweeted about it, but the bonus about the Avs not doing anything really on Friday was they didn't fuck up on Friday.
Right.
And the things they've done on Saturday, they definitely didn't fuck up those, in my opinion, either. So
sometimes less is more, but there's still so much out there.
Remember last offseason? The amount of less is more? Just the quality. The quality wasn't high, but man, did it work out? Yeah.
Right.
Hell yeah, it did.
Little tweaks, and I mean, if last year was any indication, there's not much left to tweak here. I don't think. So it's like that's why it's tough to see if the Hall anything's gonna happen with Hall. We'll just see, I guess.
If it's anything more than 1 year, I'm gonna lose it.
And next week on tap, Tyler's gonna fucking lose it.
I think I said it to my brother. I'm like, if Taylor Hall signs
it's like
a normal Taylor Hall,
it's like a 6 year by $8 million.
If it's an expected Taylor Hall deal, if he signs it here, we're gonna record one episode just losing our minds, and we're just gonna replay it. You don't even have to listen.
And then at the end, we'll just be like, and we will not be live for a month until there's something better to talk about.
This. No, 1 year only.
Yeah.
I just
scary.
I don't know. I was pretty certain that Markstrom wasn't gonna go to market, and I was wrong. I'm still pretty sure Taylor Hall is gonna sign for longer than 1 year.
Yeah. It seems
this
inevitable almost.
This is the thing, too, right? Like, this year's free agent class, like, the top of it was not good. Like,
it
wasn't as substantial as it has been in the past. Like, again, Tavares wasn't a free agent, right? Like, there wasn't the crazy big fish at the top of this free agent class except for Taylor Hall, Alex Pietrangelo, and Markstrom.
Yeah.
And again, Markstrom signed for $6 million. The big fish that was last year was Burakovsky at 10, right? So that kind of shows you it, right? But if Taylor Hall wants to kick it down the road next year, it's also shit next year too, which then makes him look good. But the problem is it's still COVID money next year.
Yeah.
Right? So it's I don't know, you almost have to kick it down the road 3 years, but he's not going to do that, I don't think. Like, you're either going one or two.
I don't know if he has the time for that.
Well, that too, right? He can't be like 32 years old trying to sign an 8-year deal anymore, or a 7-year deal. That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's COVID time. Everything's weird.
Silly season.
But again, thanks to everyone who tuned in this week and enjoyed some free agent frenzy time, and we will see you next week with, I don't know, hopefully Ryan Graves not going to arbitration.
Don't screw us too bad, bud.
Even then, like,
get what you're owed. Though.
I don't. Well, see, this is so I guess we haven't really gotten into this, but Ryan Graves files for arbitration. I don't know how much he'll actually earn. Like, I don't know how much they'll actually credit him in arbitration.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what's scary? Cody Ceci went to arbitration with the Leafs, and it was like $5 million.
Yeah. I know, it's always
for
sketch.
Cody Ceci.
It's always sketch going into arbitration, but sometimes you even.
And Cody Ceci didn't have a +40 season coming.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely not.
So like, that's scary. Like, as much as the Avs want to go in saying it doesn't mean anything, you know exactly. Ryan Graves' agent is going in. Oh, it means everything.
Yeah, what do you mean?
It's up to the arbitrator, right? I don't know. It's I don't know.
Sometimes it doesn't end up too bad.
I believe they'll get it done. Just like players every year file for arbitration. It's like 10% or less that actually go.
Exactly. And
so don't think that just because he filed means it's going. Like, these deals get done before arbitration all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I believe mostly because GMs look at the player and go, "Do you really want to sit in the room while I tear you down?"
Yeah.
Because Jeff O'Neill on TSN Radio has talked about his arbitration filing. And he's like, you literally walk in the room and they talk about you like they hate you.
Yeah.
And then you're supposed to go play hockey for them again. And it's just not a good time.
Yeah. It's not pleasant for either side, except for the agent, because he's like, yeah, this is what I'm meant for.
Yeah, this is it. But anyway, again, thanks for listening, and we will see you next week. The biggest thing you can do to support us is by going to iTunes or Apple Podcasts and giving us a 5-star rating. Also, if you're looking to donate to the network, visit the Hockey Podcast Network's Patreon page. All donations go straight to the podcast host. Thanks, and see you next episode.
You're listening to the Hockey Podcast Network on Twitter @HockeyPodNet. New episodes every Monday and Thursday. Download at thehockeypodcastnetwork.com or wherever you get your podcasts from.